Hi. So, I just wanted to pop on really quick and let you know that my schedule is changing a bit. I think. I don't know. So, for that reason, I'm going to close my books for personal readings for the time being. Obviously, the people who already have readings scheduled, nothing changes for you. We will do those readings on those dates and times, but I'm just not going to take any new bookings, at least for right now. So obviously, I will let you know if that changes. We're talking about May. Shouts out to you, May babies, Taurus and Gemini. I'm a cusper. My birthday is on the 20th. Oh my gosh. So, anyway, without further ado, let's get into the reading. We're going to be using the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. And then we're using this tarot deck. I need to find the name of it. It doesn't come with a book, which is really annoying to me, but I'll figure it out. I'll Google it because I have no clue. I got it a couple years ago. So without further ado, and obviously because of my schedule, the videos are going to come out probably a bit more sporadically. Just an FYI on that too, if you care. But yeah, let's get into it. Aquarius. Oh my gosh. Look, you're last, but certainly not least, of course. Oh my gosh, though. Um, Tell me, like, is there, okay. Do we need a light on? Is that better? So, I know I'm so late with this, quote unquote, late, because, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of doing your own thing is you're on your own time. But, like, my brain is still very routine. I'm going to try to keep my little, throat clearing to, a minimum. But, so, what happened was I got the C word, the C19 word. I don't know. Can you say that? I mean, whatever. I had COVID and it kicked my ass. Like, thoroughly up and down the street, whatever you want to say. Yeah. There was a day there that I was actually kind of worried. I was like, should I take myself to the emergency room? Do people still do that? Then I was like, I don't want to go. I'm a Taurus, so I was like, I don't want to go to the emergency room. What if they keep me overnight? I have a dog, blah, blah, blah. I'm wondering if we should keep this card because it came out. No, because I wasn't. Anyway, so that was a whole week and then work and then just trying to get back. I still, and this was all this last week. Oh, and I had my 40th birthday, was sick for that. I did have a couple margaritas at least that day, but, just, it was a week. So anyway, I hope that you're doing well. And the reason why at the beginning I was like, what's going on with you? Have you been busy? Is because part of me, and especially when I am in the mode of doing these readings, it's whatever kind of starts happening, I feel is part of the message. And I try to at least, mention or just bring it up or, almost as either validation or, I see you type of thing. The energy is present for that, I get it. So I don't know, have you been super busy? Do you feel behind? Anything along those lines?
we will, I think, keep this one. It says, Hunter, track down your fears and desires. There's like a cave back there. So all of that is to say, too, that I am sorry that this is late. Again, what's late? I don't know. It's, then I try to trust, too, that, it's the message is coming out exactly in the right time. I'm not going to take those because I feel like that was operator error. We have the Ten of Pentacles. I think that is my favorite card in this whole deck. I just think it's so pretty and I want to sit there. We have the Seven of Swords, the Ace of Swords, Three of Pentacles. Love that. Eight of Pentacles. I don't know. I mean, both of those cards came out together, so, sometimes we take them when it feels right. Let me just make sure everything is everything. Okay. This is beautiful. Very, very positive. Love that. I mean, I love all messages anyway. It's just, So we have this Hunter, track down your fears and desires card. And I just keep hearing I just keep hearing in my head that they're the same thing. Your fears and desires are the same thing. I feel like we just kind of get conditioned, whether it's through life experience or, somebody kind of conditioning us to this way of like thinking or feeling that, for one, we don't deserve what we desire. And again, whether that's something that a story that we came up with on our own somehow, or, whether it was some belief that somebody else had that they just kind of imprinted onto us, or, like just life experience in general, right? Where something that you thought you really wanted and you did have a desire for just didn't work out the way that it that you wanted it to, and you just feel crushed, right? And it kind of ends up turning into this fear of getting what you want, but then either losing it or it just not showing up in the way that you expect it to, or like something along those lines. But that's just kind of like the feeling that I'm getting with this Hunter card, track down your fears and desires. Like, it's just, you either fear what you desire or your desires create fear. That's even that like whole like fear of success thing, because it's like, once I get there, if I lose it, if it's not what I hope it is, if I fail, or, if I can't sustain whatever, I'm just like all the things that just kind of like start coming up with that. And it's interesting that the Seven of Swords is out here, because I feel like that's kind of that energy. I mean, obviously we'll get to that, but the Ten of Pentacles is like, it's legacy, it's reaching a level of success. Tens are completion. So, it is getting to a place that you worked to get to. This could either be the goal, it could be where you're at now, or where you feel like you're getting to. And every time I see this card, there's that, when you're like going on a date or any other situation where I guess this question could come up. It doesn't necessarily specifically have to be like dating, but when somebody's like, what do you bring to the table? And you're like, I brought the table. Like, I built the table, you know? And I love this could just be like my Taurus sun coming out, but I love the feeling of this, the cozy, the vibe of this whole thing. I mean, and again, you could be a guest at this table, you could be the host, whatever it is. And obviously, I'm talking metaphorical tables. It doesn't specifically have to be like an actual, circle or, get together group, whatever. It can be, absolutely, Maybe you've been thinking about wanting to create something, for community, because that's also the Ten of Pentacles. Pentacles has to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it, how we invest it. It's our time also, how we give and invest and take time. It's our physical body. It's our home. Anything that has value. So it can be work. And with the 10 of Pentacles, it does usually include other people. Nines are individual completion. Tens is when you tend to share it like with other people. So it does have a community aspect. There's generational wealth or just generational lineage going on in there too. So, you could be creating community in some capacity, because we also have this Three of Pentacles here, and the Three of Pentacles is collaborating with others. So, it has a planning aspect to it. There's this anthill here, there's 3 ants on it. Everybody is doing their job. There's, a common goal, and everybody is doing their part to reach that goal. So, that almost just kind of confirms this Ten of Pentacles vibe of, maybe you're going to be creating something with somebody else. Or if you have already started to do that, you may see the fruits of your labor start to pay off with that. Again, though, this could be the goal, the vision, this could be where you feel you're at. Like you feel like you're still at planning stage, just kind of getting ducks in a row type of vibe. And then we have the Seven of Swords. And I wonder, is that, it is. I have notes like all over the place, all under a bunch of tarot decks too. But the Seven of Swords is an Aquarius card. So I feel like Aquarius always tends to show their face in almost every one of their readings. I love that. Sorry. But, okay, swords have to do with our mind. It's how we think, what we think. It's how we communicate those thoughts. It's ideas, it's inspiration. It's also ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, right? That's what I was saying about conditioning over here. And I love how, like, this Seven of Swords, there's this white picket fence going on here, and then there's 6 swords in the ground. And then, the one sword, the Ace of Swords, sticking straight up, and we have the Ace of Swords right next to it. The Seven of Swords traditionally talks about like trickery, like trying to get over on somebody. Like the traditional meaning of the Seven of Swords is that, there's a figure that's like kind of tiptoeing away with 7 swords from, somebody's camp. And what they're doing is they are basically like handicapping their enemy. So, that figure is stealing their swords so that they can't be prepared to go into battle. So there's like a manipulation, kind of calculated risk aspect to it. But, just over time, I think it's kind of like taking on this thing of, again, like just lower level manipulation, But I always see the Seven of Swords as being the card of us fooling ourselves. Like it's self-sabotagey, like those stories that we attached to those experiences and how those stories have impacted what we do and definitely what we don't do. Because like I was even saying before, like we kind of get this, I don't deserve it, it's not going to happen that way, it's you know I don't have the resources, I don't have the time, I don't have the all of the things, right, that just kind of start coming up as there's something exciting to look forward to, right? That's to me like the Seven of Swords, that self-sabotagey, the not wanting to jinx it. And also too, even like how rooted that stuff is in our like subconscious, right? Because I'm looking at like these six swords here, just like firmly in the ground. They almost look like roots, but they're not. I mean, but then there's this one sword here, this one picket that's upside down. I don't think I even realized that was an upside down, like one of the posts here. I just keep getting this feeling of like that being a needle, and it's like I keep getting this image of a needle popping a balloon. I don't even know where that is coming from, but that's just like what I keep seeing in my head. And it's almost like this feeling of like distraction, because this is a whole thing that's like happening as I'm seeing it, is that when you just kind of like tend to zone out or like get into that mental cycle of just like I said, that self-sabotage. Brene Brown calls them gremlins. Like just the things in our head start going off, right? But it's just like that loud bang or that loud pop from the balloon popping. It kind of like breaks that pattern, like, and forces you to focus on something different, which is interesting because we have the Eight of Pentacles here. I love how it's not even by design, but I love how like everything ends up flowing, because I wasn't even looking at the Eight of Pentacles yet. I was still looking here, and then I looked down and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, exactly. Because it's almost just like, and not to mention in this, if you can see it, whoops, in this little part right here, there's like a star, but it almost looks like a bang, like a starburst or something. I don't know, but that's kind of interesting. But it is about like focusing on your work, like focus your energy on the work. Whether that is internal work to like work through whatever the Seven of Swords is, or whether it's this work where, you're collaborating, you're creating this, community, or even just trying to get to this level of success in order to, provide for your family and all of that. Because the Eight of Pentacles does talk about practice be making perfect, and not even perfect, I mean, there's no such thing, but putting in the hours, the time to practice, to get better at your craft, to learn more, to, all of those things. It's almost like this bee. The more I stare at this card, it's almost like this bee is showing like what's behind the veil. This could even just be like your spark, your what's the word I'm looking for? Affinity for like whatever it is that you are putting your time into, because it has like this like universe juice like type of feeling to it. That's very interesting. And I mean, with it being like spring, summerish in the northern like hemisphere, bees are going to be around, a lot more. Like I haven't seen very many. I've seen a few. But, flowers are starting to blossom and, like bees are pollinators. And also, too, even the magnitude of how important bees are to our ecosystem, not to go down like the bee rabbit hole, but like, I don't know why for some reason it seems so significant. Maybe it's because it's the only, no, there's ants over here. I was going to say that's the only insect out here, but there's ants, and I just heard something about ants the other day. I can't think of what it was though. Very interesting. And then we have the Ace of Swords. I'm going back to this Eight of Pentacles. There could even be some sort of like awakening type of thing going on here where, you could just feel or begin to feel just more connected to, like I said, universe juice, like just more energetically connected to Earth, to Gaia, to just, the powers that be. It could even just be getting outside a little bit more, like just being in nature too, like doing your work outside if it's accessible, or just being sure that, like any breaks that you take, if it's accessible, like to go outside. And then the Ace of Swords, which is like, like I was saying with the swords, it's about ideas, truth, divine truth, in the sense that it's objective, right? Like there are no feelings involved. It's logic, it's rational with the swords. And it's interesting that we don't have any water out here either. We have earth and we have air. Oh, we have a couple wands. Oh, actually, in this corner is fire. But the Ace of Swords is, it's a new idea. It's a new practice. It's a new way of thinking. It could be a paradigm shift. It could be an epiphany. It could just be a new way of how you think about, even what's going on with the Ten of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. Because again, even going back to this, track down your fears and desires, if you've been focusing on fear versus desire, it could even just be switching that to focusing more on what you desire, what you expect to get out of a situation, like your expectations for your goals. I don't even know why I'm using the word expectation, because I'm really not like a huge fan of expectations, but I know that we have them. Obviously, the things that we do, we expect a certain result from. But it's also like, practicing that non-attachment to expectations, not allowing them to kind of either reinforce an old story or create a new one. And I love that it's paired with the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands came out with the Emperor card. Emperor is Aries and Mars. And so is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is also Aries. So you could have some Aries placements, significant Aries placements. There could be an Aries around you. There doesn't have to be. I'm just pointing that out because both of these cards are Aries. This is Leo, the Six of Wands. But the Four of Wands is about reaching a level of success. Like it is a celebration card. Wands have to do with action. It's the motivation behind our actions. There's a bit of like bravery and courage in there too. And it's also like about passion and desire. So it's interesting that these cards are the ones that show up at the end of the reading. So again, especially paired with the Ace of Swords, like there could be this like shift of energy, maybe even just seeing the oracle card, maybe even just hearing that like it just kind of allows you to like switch your way of thinking a little bit, or at least your way of perceiving something. But the Four of Wands, so we start with the Ace, which is that spark, the desire, the passion. The Two of Wands is about planning for the future. It's about planning, like, okay, I have these wands here, like, what am I going to do? What actions am I going to take towards this passion, this goal, this desire? The Three of Wands is when you actually start taking action. You take your first steps. And then the Four of Wands is reaching a level of success in those actions. It's seeing the fruits of that labor pay off, which I mentioned over here. It's still a four, so it's still, it's kind of like, okay, I did it. I did these things. I'm trying to think of like an example. Like I created a business name. I registered it. I opened a store, like an Etsy store. I don't know. I'm trying to use like a super easy thing, and it's like, okay, I've gotten there. Maybe I've gotten my first sale, or I created a course, or I created a website, or I started an Instagram, I started a TikTok, whatever, right? And it's like, kind of starting to see that those things, like the actions that you've taken, have paid off. This also talks about stability, union, people coming together, because there is usually more than one person in the Four of Wands. And also too, even like, could I have not just taken this out straight? No. This even feels like circle-esque, there's this big bonfire, these lights back here. It's nighttime, like, it's nighttime in the Ten of Pentacles. In any case, though, the Four of Wands does talk about foundation. Maybe even just like focusing on foundation, principles, The Emperor is about confidence. Like I said, it's Mars. I can't remember, where is Mars in Leo right now? I think it was in Cancer for a little bit. I think it moved to Leo, if I'm not mistaken. But even, just seeing this tree grow from this brain here, right? It's like, again, with the Ace of Swords, it's like, the thoughts that you are watering are going to grow. So do you want to water the fear, or do you want to water the desire? That seems like a rhetorical question, but it's not, and I think it's just, like I said, like, it's a matter of like saying it out loud, almost even like being called out if that's what you're doing, But like I said, the Emperor is confident. They're an authority. They're, somebody that people look to. It's a divine masculine, not gender, but just, the energy of the masculine. So, it's like initiating. It is, kind of showing up confident, even if, because confidence doesn't necessarily mean, confident. Sometimes like people can be, just kind of arrogant or cocky, and it's kind of masking something. But the Emperor is like, it's like, trusting your knowledge, trusting what you're doing. It's having that level of confidence that you believe in yourself, you believe in the goals that you have. You believe even that it's possible, right? Anything is possible if you're possible. I think that's what I just heard like the Kim Possible doot 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 thing in my head. And then we have the Six of Wands, which is success, victory. Sun is rising. There's this path that's like lit up by these, literal wands here. It's also interesting that, the sun could be going up or down. truly, because I was gonna say, like, the Ten of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, it's nighttime. So, I mean, it really could go either way. And then look who we have. We have the Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands. That spark. Literally, because that's a matchstick right there. Three of Swords. Oh my gosh. We have the Three of Swords. And I like this Three of Swords because this doesn't feel, usually the Three of Swords is, like a little depressy, like, there's three swords sticking into a heart usually. And it does talk about like rejection, betrayal, disappointment. Again, though, swords, what stories are we attaching to those experiences? But with this one being an hourglass and there's a sword going through the top of it, this to me just kind of has this feeling, at least in all of the readings that it's showed up in throughout this series, it has this feeling of like something finally being healed. Because, with the sword going through the hourglass, I mean, there could be something that's been going on for some time. And this is that, like I was saying before, oh my gosh, like, just connected that. Where I was saying that, the sword and the Seven of Swords, I was getting this feeling about a needle popping a balloon. And that's almost how this is, even though, I mean, obviously this looks like glass, but something is like, it's like breaking that pattern of like breaking the pattern of disappointment or, rejection. And especially because we have the Universe card behind it, which is the World card. So there's definitely, like an ending here. I believe Aquarius is part of the World card too. There's like 4 fixed signs on the World card. And I believe Aquarius is part of that too. But so, definitely something is coming to an end, a cycle, again, a pattern, a way of behaving, a way of thinking. This is the true end of that. And then we have the effing sun behind there. Like, are you kidding me? That's everything good. Anything and everything good. It's rejuvenation. Even like I was saying about like, if it's possible to get outside and get sun, get some sun on your body. We have the Lovers card after that, which is Gemini. And then the Mother of Swords, or the Queen of Swords, which is Libra, it looks like. And then there was, the Ace of Cups, the Nine of Cups. Yeah, I mean, there's truly nothing really negative about this reading at all. It's just getting your mind right. It's like, allowing your mind to like catch up to or be in a place of, excitement and looking forward. I love that. And I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. If you liked the video, I would, I lost my words all of a sudden. I don't do well with these like self plugs. I need to, conjure the Emperor energy. But anyway, if you liked the reading, give it a thumbs up. Even if you didn't like the reading, if it didn't resonate, you can give me a thumbs down. It's engagement and I appreciate it. Leave a comment, even if you're not much of a commenter. Emojis are great. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm sure it's going to be even more sporadic as far as like readings coming out, but don't let that deter you from subscribing. Because like I said, the messages come out, they reach us whenever and exactly when we need them. Okay, I'm officially leaving it there. Thank you so much. I almost said I love you. So there you go. Love you. Okay, bye.